Hi everyone, welcome to our next floral pencils video. This is for the light orange flower, and I'm thinking we could probably do with doing one of the ones over this side. So that's why I have sort of picked over here, really. No other reason. Just trying to even things out and, you know, sort of try and randomize the colours in a non-random, slightly planned way. It's a bit weird, I know. So I'm going to go for this flower here today and use some of the lighter oranges, sort of the peachy type shades, which I think will be fun. We're actually going to start with the pencil. So the pen, I'm going to make sure I get the right one because we've got a wibbly stem from the flower here, which you now can't see, down here. So it's this one here on the edge of the butterfly. And I'm going to start with the Marmalade Orange. This isn't a really dark orange. We've got a couple of even lighter ones. I thought it would look quite different to the other orange then. So I'm going to do this pencil in the same way that I did our very first pencil. And so that is by putting a darker colour on the edge and then just fading it towards the centre. It's a bit easier. I hope you can see. It's a little tricky for me to zoom in too far with the size of this book. I have found a way to rest my tripod on the page so that I can see things that are at the far top or far bottom, but because this goes almost the full length, the flower, I can't keep fiddling around with that, so we're just going to have to be a little bit further out, and hopefully you can see well enough. So basically the technique is to just keep layering up the darker pencil right on the edge and then just slightly put some out towards the centre, and then we can see a contrast in the colour. So that's what I am doing. I'm just building up a few layers. Because it's so pale, I do want to make sure it still shows up a little bit. I'm very much avoiding the butterfly. We'll do that another time. I'm going to go on to the apricot colour. I hope you can see that. I find these slightly easier to show up in the light than the polychromos. And I'm not going to go start right at the edge because I want that to be as dark as I can get with my Marmalade Orange. So I'm going to start around here and then just take that colour towards the centre. I do a little bit each side, it makes it easier for me to find the middle. Like that, and keep it pale in the centre. Oh, we need a little bit around the edge of the butterfly, don't we? There we go. I'm really wondering what on earth colour I'm going to do the butterfly when I'm done so many, when all the flowers will be different colours. But we'll see. Well, I'll wait till the end and have a think. My brain has already got a few ideas, but I won't know if they'll work until the other pencils are done. So there we go, we've got a bit of a shine going down the pencil. Now for the main part of the flower, I should be able to zoom in a little bit more for you. Let's just bring it down. Oops, I've got a book underneath, I'm leaving it behind. I put a book under this page. Oh, that's good, can't get it much. There we go. Now I've put a book under this page because it's quite near the front of the Wildflowers. And back to the Marmalade Orange. Oh, blurred. And it means that I've got something underneath to lean on, which helps me. I'm not thinking about the seed pods quite yet. I'm just going to put down, I want to have a darker layer of orange down near the bottom of the petal and then less towards the top, in very much a similar way that I did the pencil, in that I'm going to mix the two colours. So I'm putting down lots of layers down here near the centre and less towards the edge, towards the outside, sorry. And just very gently applying layers. Now with these Arteza Experts, I find they're very gentle on the paper. They don't hold their point particularly well and they're quite soft. Now that can be a disadvantage if you've got lots of small details, and we do have a few small details, but we'll cope. but I find it's good for books where the paper is quite thin. Obviously Johanna Basford books, the paper is excellent, so it's never a problem. But with some thin papers, if you use a particularly hard pencil or particularly pointy pencil, it can actually make a mark on the pencil, like an indentation. We don't want that. And yes, if you're really light touched, if you've got a light touch, then it's not going to do that anyway. But it's risky, so I tend not to use like harder pencils. I say things like Staedtler Noris, Prismacolor very thins, things like that can get very sharp or very hard if you have to feel like you've got to press down hard to get colour out, and you can spoil some papers. And papers, things like Amazon printed colouring books, or ones that you may have printed yourself, maybe on copy paper, that sort of thing. So this is quite pale, it's quite a pastel-y colour, which I think is rather nice. I'm going to leave it like that and go in and finish the ends of the petals with the apricot, and then decide whether I'm going to put down more layers. So again, like we did with the pencil, I'm not going to start right here in the centre and go over that. I'm going to start about here and start to just add more colour and take that towards the tip. Just going to repeat that on each petal. Now the centre I'm thinking about. Now I feel that although we've got this colour scheme that we're sort of sticking to, different colours, it doesn't matter if we maybe add in some black. I'm wondering about black for those seeds in the middle, but then I'm wondering if that's going to be a bit too harsh. I'm going to do a darker bit there and there with this turned over bit. You know, I think because this is quite a pale colour, if it had been the dark oranges, I think the black might have worked, but as it's so pale, I think it might just draw the eye too much. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just sort of thinking, because I can't visualise what it's going to look like, because I don't have that sort of mind, it's quite tricky for me to try and, you know, think about what's going to work and what's not. I'm putting a bit more colour there, just where that turnover bit is. I probably should do it there and there as well, just a little bit, as if there's some shadow. So I'm trying to think. We could do it in a darker orange, but again, this is quite a peachy palette. And I think if we add in a sort of normal orange or blood orange or something like that, like we were using yesterday, I think it might sort of just be a bit over the top, really, a bit too vibrant, maybe. So I'm thinking I'm going to go back over with the marmalade in the centre just to try and make it look, emphasise the fact that I want it to be darker. I'm just going to layer it up a bit more while I'm thinking. Give me some more thinking time. It doesn't really, well, it does need to be darker, but give me some time to have a little think. So I was wondering, you know, grey, but then I'm thinking, the flower centres, are they grey? We could use a sort of pastel-y yellow, which is my next thought. But I don't know. So, I know what we're doing. We use one of these browns, that's what we'll do, and use it quite gently. So here we have a, what's it called? Sienna Brown. That one doesn't want to show up, does it? Very well. And I'm going to do a really gentle layer all over. So I'm just going to cover the whole thing in a very light layer, because there are gaps between these circles and I want them to be filled in with colour. Okay, then I'm going to colour each circle on its own with a darker bit, just so each stands out a little bit, but not too much. I think this will work. It's dark enough, but it won't just overpower the peach, I think. See what you think when it's done. So I think we can still call this a light orange flower. I can't make out exactly what's a circle and what's a gap, but I'm doing my best. There. Now you could put some little white dots on that to make your seeds look like they're shining. I'm not going to do that for two reasons. Firstly, because I haven't done white anywhere else. I'm just going to get ready to do the stem. So I don't want to just suddenly introduce it. I think if you're going to do white on things, you need to do it across quite a few different elements, not just one. Also, with the Artezas, some of the colours, the white doesn't show up very well. It absorbs the pigment from the colour, and I don't know which ones it does that. I wonder whether I should really just swatch all my pencils. Haha, you know, I never do that. And see which ones tend to absorb the white and which ones don't. Oh, I'm wondering whether there's a white pen that doesn't do that. I've got Sakura and Posca, and they absorb some of the pigments out of some pencils and pastels as well. I'm going to use this really light lime green because we've got quite a light theme going on, apart from the centre. So, but I'm going to not press very hard at all. I've got no leaves on this stem, so we may just use this colour, but I want to make sure I don't want to add another one first, and because if we press too hard we won't be able to add another one on top, because it would have sunk right down into the paper. We won't be able to get any more layers in, so I'm just doing it gently. Now what I'd like to do is to go along the stem in a darker colour on each side and just make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. However, I've not done that with any of the other stems because they're too narrow, as this one is as well. So I'm not going to do that, but that is what, if it was slightly thicker, that is what I would do. But what I'm actually going to do is choose another green. I think I'm going to choose that one. This is called Absinthe Green. I think we may have used it before, I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And do a few bits of, whoops, you need to see the name. Oh, that's really good. Oh, there we go. And do a little bit of detailing. So around this top part here, around the bottom, I'm just going to add a little bit, and here. I don't want to do too much, just to give it a little bit of shadow and shape without adding a black or a grey. A little bit under there, a little bit where it's crossing some of the other leaves where there might be a bit of a shadow, and then a little bit at the bottom. Now, as I say, I'd quite like to go along the edge of each stem, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to now go back in with this original green, the lime, and just go over the top of the bits we've done already. Now I'm happy to darken them up. I feel like I've done enough different shades and shadows so that I can risk pushing lots of pencil into the page. I just want to make sure it shows up, not too pale. But obviously, because the pencil and the flower are quite pale, I'm just going to zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, because the pencil is pale, the petals are pale. Don't want to overwhelm it with too much green. Just going to give that a brush. This brush is amazing. Look at it. It's just a makeup brush, and I don't know who sent me this as a gift. It came just through the door one day with no label in, but it's been amazing, so thank you. Whoever sent me this, if you're watching, thank you. Right, that is our flower done for today. Again, it's a bit short. These are going to be shorter within this series. As I say, a little bit short of time, but still able to just do a slightly shorter video for you. So I hope that's okay. So that's our two oranges and our two reds done. So we're on to the scary ones now, yellow. I find yellow scary. You may not, you may love yellow and colour with it all the time. For me, oof. Anyway, I'm going to do my best and we'll see what happens. But anyway, as for today, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your support, your subscriptions, your likes, your comments. It's all so lovely of you. Thank you so much, and happy colouring.